CNT125, Chapter 11. We just got done talking firewalls. We're moving into the section now on IDS and IPS. So IDS, your intrusion detection system. This is either a standalone device or an application running on a server or device node, if you will. That's designed to monitor the network traffic and generate alerts when it detects anything suspicious. So, thinking back, we have the ACL or firewall. These have rules written on them to permit or deny traffic, and this is kind of acting like the bouncer at a club checking everybody's ID. Yes, you can come in. No, you can't. The IDS now is like the security personnel sitting in a little, private room monitoring all the cameras of the club, alerting the security personnel like, hey, this looks suspicious. This looks odd over there. Can you go check that out? That's what your IDS is now doing. So the IDS sits in your network and is kind of monitoring the traffic and looking for anything that looks out of place, out of ordinary. So two primary methods used for detecting threats: statistical anomaly. It's going to compare the network traffic to predetermined baseline. So, it knows what normal traffic levels are and what normal types of traffic there are. If it sees something different than that, it's like, well, hey, we see a spike in this type of traffic over here. I'm going to let you know that that's going on. And then it would be up to us to look at that to know, oh, yeah, that's okay. They're doing a special video conference today out of blah, blah, blah. Or no, that I don't know why that would be causing that. I don't know why that traffic would be going there. Signature-based detection looks for identifiable patterns or signatures of code known to indicate specific vulnerabilities. Almost like detecting for viruses. Viruses have a certain, like fingerprint or a single specific footprint on files and so forth. You're looking at the same kind of thing in your traffic. If I see a certain type of traffic, that might be alert that we're getting somebody's doing some brute force attacks on a server, trying to repeatedly brute force attack passwords on a server. And that would give us an idea of that type of fault, that type of alert. We can have a host-based or a network-based IDS. A host-based, this is going to run on the computer. And this might actually... I think we showed back here, this might actually be a computer here that we install it on, and it's going to collect the data that way and alert us. That would be your host-based one. A network-based, this is an actual appliance that we install, and it's going to, again, same thing, alert us to any traffic. With our network intrusion detection system, it's usually going to need a configuration on a switch of like port mirroring. We did port mirroring back when we did our IP phone lab. We port mirrored the phone traffic over onto the port that had our Wireshark on. The same type of thing would be done here. We would need to port mirror the traffic on all the user ports here or the trunk port over to the IDS port. The port that the IDS would be connected to. That way it gets a copy of everything that's moving through. One of the drawbacks of an IDS is the number of false positives. We might actually have what looks like a security threat with multiple login attempts of a user, but it's actually somebody that's like forgotten their password. So I might get a bunch of alerts that are not actually real. So it's going to take time to tweak this to have it give you information that is real, but it's not too many false positives. And here's some examples of IDSs that can be installed, actual hardware that can be installed. And here's some software that could be installed doing the same kind of thing. The book gave you some examples of Snort and so forth, the ones that can be used. An IPS, intrusion prevention system, instead of just alerting, it actually is going to try to react. So this one detects a threat and tries to prevent that traffic from flowing from that particular source. So the IPS now is going to be sitting in our traffic flow. The IDS was just sitting off to the side, getting copies of all the traffic, looking for anything that looks out of place. The IPS is sitting right in the flow, kind of like sitting in the middle of the river, sitting in the flow, and it's going to examine that, and if it sees something that looks out of place, and maybe multiple login attempts, it's going to shut down that traffic. So our router access lists our firewall. That's our bouncer checking IDs at the door. The IDS was the security personnel looking at cameras and alerting the security personnel, hey, this something looks odd over here. The IPS is literally, I think the book used the example of a security personnel walking around, being available to escort people out if they get a little bit rowdy. That would be their example there. So the IPS is actually in the mix and can respond too. IPS is originally designed as more comprehensive traffic analysis, but some of our firewalls have evolved such a way that there's very fine line between firewalls and IPSs now. In some cases, the firewalls are doing a lot of the functions of an IPS. IPS stand in line with the network traffic and can stop suspicious traffic. Yep. So if we have an IPS detecting hackers attempt to flood the network with traffic, it can literally detect that and prevent traffic from that source from flooding the network and literally shut that down. And that would be an advantage of just getting the alert. It's actually trying to respond for us. And I can have here's an appliance, if you will, and I can also have a host-based one too. I can do it on a host as well as to the network appliance. And here was your network appliance there, literally checking traffic as it's moving through, and then I can have a host running on a server protecting it. And here's some hardware appliances for IPSs. And here's some software for IPSs. When we move into cloud computing, the cloud computing usually uses a model where we kind of have a shared approach to security. The cloud platforms often embed some type of security with their service to protect against their resources, but we might even need to do some on our end too. And this is kind of the model where they're showing, if it's on premises, if we have all the equipment, well, we're responsible for all of it. But as we start subscribing to more cloud technology, they're going to take care of their equipment. They're going to protect their equipment and their resources. Anything that we're in charge of, we'll need to make sure we're doing something to protect those or filter or protect those resources. So with the cloud model, we might have some piece of this that we have to worry about versus the cloud providers doing some pieces as well. So they're trying to remind us that with cloud computing, when we have cloud resources, we might have some of that security that we're responsible for. That's what they're really trying to show us with this.